Hello everyone, thank you for stopping by and supporting my YouTube channel. I don't know how many Jehovah's Witnesses in the writing department who comes up with this crap of talks that they give to the elders and the circuit overseers. They're better off letting monkeys to write this stuff. It probably would make sense. It probably would encourage people. But these men, I don't think they deserve to be in a writing department to make up this nonsense of these stupid talks. So let's get started.
Well, where do you get it from? How is it acquired? How can we get this courageousness, this boldness to preach the good news? Well, you have to go to the hall of faith. That's where you get it. And you look at all those pictures hanging up in there, because these were men who had the kind of courage that we need for this day and time. So let us go to the hall of faith and let's stroll down that hall. And perhaps one of the first ones that you will see whose picture is hanging in the hall of faith, because he had what God approved of, and like most in men, courage. This man's name is Enoch. Enoch. Open your Bibles to the book of Hebrews and you'll find yourself in the hall of faith when you turn to chapter 11. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 5. And here in Hebrews chapter 11 verse 5, here's what the Apostle Paul says about Enoch. It says, by faith Enoch was transferred so as not to see death. And he was nowhere to be found because God had transferred him. For before his transference, he had the witness that he had pleased God well. Now, several things have happened right here in this verse. First of all, Enoch had been transferred. Well, why was he transferred? It was because of the activity that he was performing at the time and the threats that Enoch had to face. What was he doing? Well, open your Bibles to the book of Jude. And in the book of Jude, verse 14, you'll see what Enoch was doing. It says, yes, the seventh one in line from Adam, Enoch, prophesied also regarding them when he said, look, Jehovah came with his holy myriads to execute judgment against all, and to convict all the ungodly concerning all their ungodly deeds that they did in an ungodly way, and concerning all the shocking things that the ungodly sinners spoke against him. Now that's the word that Enoch was giving. He was preaching. He was courageously standing up and preaching. Well, now who was he preaching to? Open your Bibles to the book of Genesis chapter 4 and you'll see. And then you'll understand.
Now listen very close to this, okay?
Understand why God transferred him, and then you'll understand too why God approved of him as well. In Genesis chapter 4, you will discover that Enoch was preaching to a society of violent men. Violent men. They were so violent that they would kill you and make a song about it. That's how violent they were. Look at what it says in chapter 4, beginning with verse 23. It says, consequently, Lamech composed these words for his wives Ada and Zillah. Hear my...
Is this a song or it's just words that he told his wives?
voice rejoice, you wives of Lamech, give ear to my saying, a man I have killed for wounding me, yes, a young man for giving me a blow. If 7 times Cain is to be avenged, then Lamech 70 times and 7. And he meant what he said. He was a murderer. And he sang songs and composed poems about his devilish deeds. So Enoch came along and he spoke about these shocking, ungodly, sinner things that they were doing. And you can rest assured that they threatened Enoch about his life, and they meant it. So God let him speak, and then he transferred him. He took him off the scene rather than allowing Enoch to be ripped and torn by the violent men of his day. However, if you go back to Hebrews chapter 11, you'll see something that occurred with Enoch that you and I certainly wish would happen with us. Go back to verse 5. It says, before his transference, he had the witness that he had pleased God well. Enoch had courageously preached in behalf of Jehovah's name, and somehow, between him and Jehovah gave Enoch the signal or the witness or the proof of, in some way, that Enoch got to know that God had approved of him, that he had.
So basically, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, just supposed to encourage you to knock on people's doors, encourage you to keep preaching, because maybe you might be in the hall of faith with your picture on the walls of the governing bodies, branch offices. People, this is ridiculous nonsense. It's ridiculous. Let's continue.
Please God well. Don't you wish that you had such an absolute signal, such an absolute witness, an absolute guarantee that your courage and faith in Jehovah God is fully pleasing to him? Well, Enoch got that signal from Jehovah, and you can rest assured that when he was transferred, he was completely satisfied with the way things had gone because he had the courage that God required to speak. Well, now that's one such example. In the Bible, there are others. For example, there's Moses. Moses had the ability to take a stand.
Now, this is, to me, is the best part of this video. So, sit back, enjoy a good laugh, because we all need a laugh. How stupid and ignorant what coming out of his mouth.
For God's people, just like Enoch had taken a stand, you young people should also copy Enoch's style, his way. Copy it in the supermarket, copy it in the school, copy it on the street corner, and you other brothers and sisters, copy it in the store-to-store work. Be willing to do something different and unusual, and take whatever comes as a result of it. Okay, that's for Enoch. But what about Moses? What made Moses so courageous? You know, Moses could have had it made if he had just kept his mouth shut.
Jehovah's Witnesses could have it made if they kept their mouth shut and get out of their false religion. By keeping their mouth shut and listen to the ones who's telling them that they're in a false religion, just maybe, that little chip on their shoulder of that we're the only ones that knows the real truth and we are the true religion, they need to brush that lies off their shoulder. Ridiculous nonsense they learn from Watchtower. So let's see what they say about Moses.
He could have lived like a king. He could have had the silken and the satin and all the things that go with kings. And all he had to do was just keep his mouth shut and not tell anybody that he was one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Just keep quiet about the matter.
He was a Jehovah's Witness. Now, people would say the Baptist religion is in the Bible because they claim John was a baptizer, so he was a Baptist. But I never seen no proof that Moses was a Jehovah's Witness. Very, very interesting what kind of hallucinal drugs these writers was taking at the time when they wrote this crap.
And the Egyptian world would have been happy to have him as Prince Charming, as it were. But no, Moses was not going to have it that way. Because when you look in the Hall of Faith, here's what Moses said, and that's the reason why his picture's hanging up in there. Turn to Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 25. Well, let's look at verses 24 and 25. It says, by faith, Moses, when grown up, refused to be called the son of the daughter of Pharaoh, choosing to be ill-treated with the people of God, rather than to have the temporary enjoyment of sin. He stood up and he told Pharaoh, I am, was, and will be one of Jehovah's Witnesses. That's who I am. That's my heritage. This is what I stand for.
Come on, people. That gotta be funny. I mean, seriously, that is funny. If you did your research truthfully, Moses would never supported Jehovah's Witnesses for covering up child molesting. He would never got involved of false prophecies they put in their literature, even put dates in them. The coming of Armageddon. And many, many more. They cannot use people from the Bible claiming that they were Jehovah's Witnesses. This God Jehovah is a false God. Now, I was talking to a person. Well, we was writing on a guy's YouTube channel, and I told him that there's no letter J in Hebrew, and he agreed there was no letter J in the Hebrew alphabet. But, like I said, the word but, the letters was JHWH or IHWH, and it ended up to be Jehovah or Yahweh. But somehow Jehovah is more popular. So I left a comment to let him know that is wrong. And how stupid it sounds. The letters was YHWH. Or some places they said the W sounds like a V, so let's use YHWH. So I let him know that there is no letter J in Hebrew. So no J, no Jehovah. And I told him stop being ignorant. You can't just take a letter that has been written almost over 7,000 times. I think that's what they said, that Hebrew said the tetragram of God's name has been written. 7,000 of these 4 letters, and the first letter was from right to left, because that's the way they read. It's always been a Y. Even Jerusalem is spelled with a Y. So people, it proves no one in the Bible times would support this false name of God, because there's no letter J in the alphabet. But they want to fight with you, trying to make you look stupid, and the letters is there, but in their brain there's no letter Y, it's a letter J. How ignorant, stupid is that? Just like this talk. Well, thank you for taking your time out and see the truth for yourself. Because people, if you let someone brainwash you, like I was and many of us, then you giving up your life to a lost cause. This blaspheme of a false religion is crumbling, and it's going to fall. If you don't get out, or you don't study the real truth about the false religion, you're going to fall with it. Just like one Jehovah's Witness was talking about when I told him they cover up pedophiles. He said, wow, there's basically people in there is doing this. That shows we're imperfect. I about flipped. I couldn't believe he just said that. People sin because we are sinners. We can't get out of that. That's one. Two, when you're supposed to come into this glorious true religion, you're supposed to leave all your bad, evil, corrupt thoughts or things you was doing or you're not supposed to be doing when you become a Jehovah's Witness. Then it's not a sin, it's a crime. When you rape an adult, it's called rape. You go to jail. When you rape a child, you deserve to go to jail. You deserve to have it plastered on your forehead that you are a registered pedophile. But they treat it like a sin, not a crime. Do you really believe the Hall of Fame of the Bible people would approve? Do you think Christ and his Father approve? The Hall of Fame of the governing bodies who put their faith in Satan the devil and his organization, cover up crimes, hiding that they was involved with the United Nations for 10 years and is still doing it in other countries because they got busted in the United States. So people, that's all I want to say on this part of this video. If you can't see how evil and corrupt this false religion is, because you refuse to do any research, you have no one to blame. All I can do is to help you, to guide you. I have gave evidence in my other videos, books, pages, who wrote these books. All those things is all there. So y'all enjoy your day, and I'll talk to y'all another time. Bye for now.